Woodbury renovation expansion project. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to you two, and thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate it. Yeah. So first of all, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to you today. I said to Eric, we speak to groups of 2, so this is fantastic. Excellent turnout. Thank you so much for letting us come. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the background and what brought us here, and then I'm going to have Brad give you the reasons why we feel strongly that the school has to be comprehensively renovated. It's the oldest school in town. It was the original high school built in 1925. And it's had additions through the years. The most recent addition was 1995. And that addition was constructed because the 6th graders were moving from Hague School into Woodbury School. It had been up until 1995, 6. It had been a grade 7-8 school after it was the high school. And then, so 1995, the 6th graders came in, or 1994, I guess we were there 1 year, it was quite crowded. Then the 95 wing was open and there was sufficient space. But that was the most recent. 1925, 1942, 1965, 1981, and then the 95 edition. So it's been piecemealed over the years. There's nothing about the school that works educationally. The school and the staff make it work, but 6th graders have their area, 8th graders have their area, etc. Everybody walks into that building and can go to anywhere in the school. So back in 2008, we had a high school project that failed miserably. We had proposed something, and in hindsight, in looking back, it wasn't a very good proposal to begin with, so probably worked out well for us in the town that it didn't pass. But the board decided a facilities master plan was necessary because we anticipated introducing kindergarten, and then we needed, so that would mean space in the elementary schools. We were anticipating getting into the queue for state funds for our career and technical education program. Once that funding was available, we needed a shovel-ready project set, because otherwise we wouldn't have qualified for CTE funds. So the state has money that's annually budgeted for career and technical education centers around the state, and then there's a rotation of about 20 to 25 years, and as schools come up, the community votes to approve a project, and the community then qualifies for the money. So we came into the queue, or we anticipated coming into the queue around 2014. So we did our master plan, passed a bond in 2010 for the first phase elementary schools. We failed in a bond in 2012 for the second phase, went back in 2013, and that bond passed. We renovated the 3 final schools, Hague School for about $600,000, not really much of it was more of a safety upgrade than anything else. And then in the next year, 2014, we passed a renovation bond for the high school and qualified for $13 million in CTE funds. So $74 million project. Every one of the projects came in on time, under budget. And I'm very proud of that fact. I'm also very proud of how the schools have turned out, and I'm particularly proud of the way that Salem High School has turned out. I heard it called so many different things. It looked like a factory, throwback, all kinds of names that referred to the high school. It wasn't something that was attracting people, it certainly wasn't attracting families to our community. I believe that schools certainly form a significant element of our school, of our community. They facilitate vibrancy, they facilitate energy, they facilitate an esprit de corps. It's something that people can rally around. Everybody recognizes the Blue Devils. People want to identify with something, and they can identify with the school district. And it also attracts families, which is something that keeps a community going. Business and industry certainly, but families as well. So we began After the high school project was completed, we began looking at the Woodbury project and have been studying Woodbury as a school for about 2 years. And now we have this $48.9 million project that we're proposing to the community. Similar to the high school project, we're going to take 3 separate bonds. So the first bond will be drawn in 2020 if we're successful on March 10th, second in 21, the third in 22. The current second grade students would go into a fully renovated Woodbury school. So it's going to be a 3-year process, but really about 2 years of full-on construction. I'm going to have Brad talk about the deficiencies that exist, and then we'll open it up to questions. I think the most significant thing for everybody is, one, it'll be completely transformed. We look at it as a reimagining of the middle school, and it will be something that you won't recognize. You know, one of our goals going into the high school project is that graduates would come back and feel disoriented, not know where they were in the building. Because graduates in 1970 would come back in 2014 and say, that was my locker, I scratched my name in this wood paneling. And now, honestly, kids come back, they graduated in as early as 2014 or 2010, and they come in and they'll say, I don't even know where I am in the school. Even though it hasn't changed a whole lot, it looks like it's changed. So with that, I do have a couple of more handouts for people that came in late. I'm going to have Brad talk about the current deficiencies. Thanks.
Afternoon, everybody. So thanks for having us. Woodbury School is it's a tired facility. We make it work. We offer some amazing programs for our students in the community, and we're doing it sort of retrofitting it into a time that has gone by, so to speak. As Mike said, there's been additions 1940s, 50s, 60s, not the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and that is the building that we're operating in now. So we really have 3 pushes for the renovation. We want to make sure that we're updating our safety for our students, for the community. We want to ensure we're updating our services to our students in their classes, and then also the systems, because the infrastructure needs a repair as well. So in terms of the safety, a couple of the obvious points that you would see in our proposal is, first of all, we're going to bring everybody to our side of Main Street. If you go by Woodbury, it's a popular point. If you go by Woodbury School in the morning, the traffic, the kids crossing the street, the drop-off, it creates a problem for the community for the time of those transitions. It's also not the safest environment for our students going back and forth. Another big part of the safety proposal is taking our gym, which is used by the community, especially on the weekends and weeknights. We're going to rebuild it to the front of the school, to the front right. That will allow us to secure the facility when it's in use by the public. If you go into Woodbury School now, so you're coming in for the Rams or basketball, once you're in the building, you're in the building. You really have free access. That will be a big change as well. Want to update our sight lines. It was pieced together, the lines of sight from the main office, bring our school resource officer forward, have the double entry like the high school, and just modernize the video equipment as well for a safer environment. In terms of our services to our students, it was really built for a reading and a writing and arithmetic world. That's still a huge part of our curriculum, but now our kids are coding, they're building, they have strings, they're taking their band instruments, and they're taking them in classrooms that weren't built for those purposes. Our strings actually rehearses in what was many years ago a storage closet. If our kids are coding in their engineering classes, they're coding on the computers, they're trying to build their robot at the same time. There's no space for storage, there's no space for builds. So we're going to take care of some of those problems as well. If your child's in the performing arts, which is a huge program in our school and district, they'll finally have acoustically appropriate facilities, rehearsal spaces, which they don't have now. They're in classrooms. For a decade, our chorus was actually performing in a corner of the cafeteria all day long. So significant upgrades to our services in our classrooms. And then the systems, the efficiencies, we have an investment in some new boilers that we can save from a couple of years back, but really everything else needs to be updated. We have roof leaks, the windows are inefficient, the floors are worn, it's just tired and it needs to be renovated. And we think that this proposal will take care of those 3 priorities and make the community proud in a fiscally responsible way.